Hey y'all, happy Tuesday. Hopefully everybody is doing well. As y'all can see, also I have my new cover photo for Hey Y'all Tuesdays. So welcome. I'm so excited to be able to be here again to talk to y'all about some stuff that we see going on in the media. So hey to everybody coming into the room. Happy Tuesday. Robert, I love this. This is perfect. And this is perfect to start off what we're actually going to be talking about tonight. So, Robert said, every great cause begins as a movement, becomes a business, and eventually degenerates into a racket. Eric Hoffer. So, that is a great quote. And I think that's a little bit of what we're going to be talking about today. So, hey, Political Pug. Hey, Google account. Hey, Lavon. Hey, Cecily. Hey, Kenny. So hopefully everybody is doing good. I know people are slowly coming into the room. While people are coming into the room, I do want to go ahead and thank my patrons for supporting these Hey Y'all Tuesday shows. Thank y'all so much. If you would like to become a member of my Patreon, you should see the link below in the description box that helps support my content. They are demonetizing a lot of my videos. So that's basically how that goes. And then you also are able to get a little bit more exclusive content over at Patreon, okay? They have, I don't know if you guys, and let me thank my VIP patrons, Michael Ray and Ray. If you guys have not saw my video from earlier today, Fantasy Tactical Fantasyland is the name of the video. Make sure you go check that video out. That is basically when I was in Orlando, Florida for 5 days for the Ambassador Academy training. It was a super duper, not only intense experience, but I learned a lot. It was really great. And so I did like a little teaser video from that, which I think if you have not seen that, I think you will really enjoy. And so I already told y'all, like, I'm on this journey. See, people out here talking about defund the police. You got people out here talking about abolish the police. It's really crazy out here. I want y'all to make sure, y'all are being safe and things like that. I'm seeing a lot of videos. It's funny, right? Because even with these talks of abolish the police, I see these videos, and these are like regular people recording, by all accounts. And the first thing, everybody's still bringing up the police. So I'm like, either Twitter is not real world or real life is not catching up to y'all hashtags yet. I saw the video of some dude driving in his new car. Some guy hit him and he chased the guy. And I was like, I'm calling the police, bro. What's your name, bro? Or something. He's like, I'm calling the police. I felt bad for dude, but it was a little funny. And then I'm sure y'all saw the video where the mom and her daughter got a gun pulled on them because you talking cash money, you talking big money, you talking about whooping people, this, that, and the other, and you done brought your mouth to a gunfight. Like, everybody is not out here playing. So now you talking all this noise, but now when they pull a gun, you are in no way prepared to actually defend yourself. What's the first thing you say? Somebody call the police. And I saw another video today. Somebody randomly getting beat up in the street. I don't know if it was like two homeless people or what. Everybody in the background. Somebody called the police. So I'm like, this is what I mean when I say, like, Twitter world is not real. It's all filtered. It's mostly propaganda. It's a narrative. They control the algorithms. They literally control, basically what we talk about. And so, I'm just not that person. I'm not reactionary. Of course, I'm going to talk about these stories because I have a YouTube. And so y'all want to know my opinions on some of these things. However, these things that I'm like learning and doing on my downtime in my real life, like going to the Ambassador Academy, is preparing me to put myself in a position that the blue chicks are not going to tell y'all to put yourself in. You got Bree Newsome, I think that's her name, Bree Newsome, all over Twitter, abolish the police. The police are this and that. I'm like, okay, where do you live? Because I'm almost guaranteed that you live in a gated community, a high rise. You probably might even have private security. A lot of these blue chicks, okay? And so I'm like, I'm not tripping off the conversations, but if you're not having equally balanced conversations about what people can do to prepare themselves for this to happen, I can't take you serious. You're full of it. You're full of it, right? And so Bree Newsome, she'll get on Twitter and say, oh, white supremacy this and white supremacy that, and we need politicians to do these set of things to make these communities safer. But I'm like, aren't these the same people you calling the white supremacists? So all of your solutions, every single solution that you name, is in the hands and falls right back on the people that you are currently saying you can't trust. Like, I'm just trying to make sense of it all. I'm trying to keep up with, like, it's a new narrative every day. I don't know if these people coming or going. But a lot of these blue checks are going to lead people straight to a hole. That's what they're doing. I'm starting to realize that, honestly, a lot of these people are gatekeepers. Just like, and I'm particularly talking about, and I think I'm almost sure, Bree Newsome. Let me double check because I don't want to be saying the wrong person's name. But I'm starting to notice that a lot of these people are freaking gatekeepers. And why I'm starting to notice that, and I've noticed for a while, but it's really starting to hit me a little bit harder, is because they stay in a repetitive cycle of talking points and they add no balance, no nuance, and they don't, like, how do you make the same entity that you are blaming for everything just as responsible, but you just want them to shift a different way? Like, I just can't. So it's a little bit confusing to me, everything that's going on now. But we know, like I'm going to be talking about today, the death of unarmed Black men is a $1 billion industry. Social justice is a $1 billion industry. What is it going to take for people to see that somebody that lives in a gated community, has private security, lives in a high rise, may not have the same interest, daily interest or political interest, as everyday people? I don't know. That's just a hunch. I could be wrong. Bree Newsome. Kenny said, I always miss your live streams. Blessings, RhondaMary. Thank you, Kenny. I know it's been a while. Yogi Fish said, bless up. True voice, Rhonda. Thank you. But it's a lot of stuff that's becoming more and more clear to me. And until people start to denounce celebrity stan culture, you are going to be in a repetitive cycle, because not only does it have you focusing on some of the most ridiculous things, it's rarely that they ever offer actual real-time tangible solutions. That's just what it is. And so you have people taking up arms, following these. I don't mean literally taking up arms, y'all, but you have people following, these blue chicks thinking, oh, this is camaraderie. You are my friend. You speak on my behalf. No, they speak on the behalf of their sponsors. These people are going to align on the side of their sponsors. Most of y'all everyday people ain't got sponsors. Who's sponsoring you? So, I mean, at some point, I don't know, man. People just got to see it for what it is. People have to know that a lot of people are actually doing their jobs. They are competing for jobs or trying to create jobs, right? I think of how Roland Martin always goes on Twitter and he fusses, right? He angry tweets at like CNN and MSNBC or like all these other channels about, oh, you're not giving Black people more of a voice on your network, but you literally have. So you rather go there and have sponsors that you are going to have to align on the side with these sponsors instead of projecting your own voice where you're in your corner and you can literally say what the heck you want. And y'all don't think like these people's interests could like lay outside the realm of yours? Like, but anyway, we're going to get into it. We're going to get into all it tonight. Before I start with that, I do want to, some of you guys already know that was here. If you were here last week, I already made this announcement, but I'm just going to make it again for the people that weren't. I will be at the Libertarian National Convention. I'll be there Friday and Saturday. I will be speaking on the panel Saturday with a lot of really other cool people. This should be really interesting. Its title is The Second Amendment Really for Everyone. And this is going to be hosted by GOA, Gun Owners of America. And so a lot of that conversation is going to be talking about how to reach people, because I don't know if y'all just heard me tell my story, and this is also something that I was working on and kind of finding out the best way to do that when I went to the Ambassador Academy of Training. But like part of my story is I literally never even had anybody have this conversation with me. Either they thought I wasn't worthy of that conversation, either that conversation just wasn't happening in the circles that I'm in. I mean, maybe it wasn't important. Maybe it's an identity thing. Like, this is not for her. I don't know, right? But these conversations were never had with me until recently. And I've kind of told the story before, but it was literally a Black lady cop that was the first person that told me, you might want to be in a position to protect yourself. She didn't say it like that, but it's a light bulb that goes off when you have a different type of level of vulnerability and somebody presents something to you that it's just never just really been a conversation otherwise. And so that's why I'm kind of going on this journey to also inspire people and motivate people to, do their own journey, go on their own thing. But I do think with everything we're seeing happening in the media, I don't think these conversations around gun ownership will ever be the same. That's my, that's my guess. That's my theory. But then again, the media is really good with their propaganda and hitting us over the head with something, and we're doing a whole 180. But hopefully, with all the craziness we've been seeing on social media, on Twitter, all of the videos, hopefully a light bulb is going off with there's just a lot going on out here. But all right, y'all. So let's go ahead and talk about what's going on in these sports streets. I am not like a super sports fan, so I can't tell you anything about how somebody's career was or wasn't doing, or what years they sat on the bench or didn't, or anything like this. However, I know that there's a common theme. What we've been seeing in the media with the way social justice is promoted, right? I've had these conversations with you guys. I'm not a super, like, y'all know I'm just anti-status. This just is what it is. I don't like ridiculous rules. I don't like this idea that the government, that they are some type of leaders or parental figures instead of people hired through our tax dollars to work on our behalf and represent us. They are representatives. Okay? That's what they are. It's no special high pedestal that I hold these people to. And so with that being said, my point was, how do I say my point was and lose my point? Y'all, it's nothing wrong with my brain. I gotta eat blueberries and like do more like crossword puzzles and stuff like that. But anyway, I was saying that, so some of these conversations about the government overreach, I completely understand and I 100% support. So I do not want people to get it screwed up. Like, don't get it twisted. I am 100% against government overreach. However, I know that the media is 100% doing people a disservice right now by keeping people on a hamster wheel of talking about things that don't really matter and don't really add to the quality of your life, nor do they actually solve the issues. Okay? Right now, people are fighting over statues. People are fighting over painting a street or not painting a street. People are fighting over rice and syrup bottles and just all kind of things that are changing the narrative. Even what these corporations are doing with blacking out their little pictures. We stand with you. Hashtag we stand with you. Right? All of these celebratory, symbolic gestures that ultimately don't count for anything. However, we know that this is an actual industry. Can anybody deny or ignore that at this point? It's tons of people eating off y'all right now. Tons. People are like literally enthralled by trauma porn. And I would say in the media right now, you have about 90%, 95% trauma porn, 10%, 5% actual real-time solutions. Okay? I told y'all I am a big supporter of ending qualified immunity. All right. You have people that try to pretend like they care about taxes. They care about national debt. However, you continue to allow these cops' failures and their screw ups to fall back on taxpayers. At what point is that not okay? So at some point, yes, they, just like every other profession, needs to be held and feel the weight of their decisions. Now, I will say this. Education is really important, and education is something that I support, not only for citizens, not only on a personal level, but absolutely more education and training for police officers. However, one thing that has kind of allowed me to see from a broader perspective, even attending this Ambassador Academy training, and why this is so important to me, because I feel like I want to know the same things y'all know. I want to be just as prepared. I want to put myself in a position to know, like, I want to know the laws. I want to know the means of how I can go about protecting myself. And so within doing that, you also learn some of the things that other people are looking for with how to deal and handle situations, how to de-escalate, when's an appropriate time to stop a threat, and things like this. So I think there's a lot of education that needs to go on. One thing I noticed, and I kind of alluded to this earlier with these blue checks keeping people in a repetitive cycle, is that I don't see anybody supporting that people become more educated. These are two conversations that can happen at the same time. And it needs to happen, because not only do you know your rights, and when you start to know your rights, you get to see how in real time some of these laws on these state books are absolutely freaking unconstitutional. Why are there so many laws on the books? Why? But not only that, you put yourself in a better position, not only to potentially save your life, but it can just divert a lot of things, right? So even I talked about last week how you had those protesters that walked onto this gated community, this private property, and as a person that's trying to inspire and motivate people to put themselves in a position to protect themselves, and I know how a lot of this still goes back to the media, what we see in the media, and how gun people allow themselves to be even used for narratives as well, right? So I talked about how, I'm not okay with, people brandishing, or you're actually pointing guns at people walking through an area, especially with your finger on the freaking trigger. However, being educated allows you to be empowered. So the people in that state actually understanding council doctrine and what that means, right? People in that city or state understanding what it means to walk into a private community and how that can just detour a lot of things. But what happens is we have people just following other people. They are not prepared to defend themselves. That's what that comes down to. Whether that comes to a bodily threat, or to even defend yourself in a court of law because you possibly had no idea about council doctrine and how that could work in this person's favor. And so when you don't see these blue checks having some of these conversations, it just doesn't add up to me. That doesn't make sense. You're leading people to be slaughtered. We have a government who, for years, our school education has literally gotten worse and worse, okay? The public school system. You have people recommending that we trust those same people to put the funds that have been going into schools to magically take those funds, take them out of the policing system, put them into the schooling system, and something magical is going to happen. Okay? Not adding to the fact that you need all kind of oversight. Like, let's not even get into the fact of how a lot of this money is being stolen, embezzled, like whatever word you want to use. But anyway, so let's just get into a little bit of some of what's been going on recently in the sports world. So first you have Colin Kaepernick here. Now most of you have already know. I think I did like one video about Colin Kaepernick, and then I've kind of like talked about him here and there in some lives. So y'all may or may not kind of know my opinion on Colin Kaepernick, but let's talk a little bit about this. So this is according to Yahoo.com Entertainment. Civil rights advocate and football pro Colin Kaepernick has inked an overall first look deal with the Walt Disney Company, and the deal includes multiple scripted and unscripted projects that center on race and social justice. ESPN, which is owned by Disney, announced that the first project to stem from the deal will be a docuseries chronicling Kaepernick's career. Jamil Hill, a contributing writer for The Atlantic and former ESPN host, will produce the upcoming docuseries. Hill left ESPN and after being suspended from the publication for criticizing President Donald Trump, who she referred to as a white supremacist on Twitter. I am excited to announce this historic partnership with Disney across all of its platforms to elevate Black and brown directors, creators, storytellers, and producers, and to inspire the youth with compelling and authentic perspectives, Kaepernick said in a statement. I look forward to sharing the docuseries on my life story, in addition to many other culturally impactful projects we are developing. Additional details about the upcoming docuseries are under wraps, as are details about the other scripted and unscripted projects that could stem from Kaepernick's deal. That said, the ESPN announcement notes that upcoming projects will focus on perspectives from the Black and brown community. I mean, your boy Colin Kaepernick been getting all kind of bags for a while now. This man been getting all kind of bags from Nike to Disney, okay? This is major. This is major. He literally, I mean, if he didn't want to, he doesn't have to play football anymore. I'm sure, based on the article we just read and with the projects that are probably going to be coming up, he could end up making a lot more money with Disney than the NFL on an NFL contract. So on one hand, right? On one hand, I'm like, get your money, do your thing. Like, I'm not tripping. But on the other hand, I know it's so obvious that there is an effort to monetize and corporatize social justice. It's so obvious. It is so obvious. I've talked about this the whole Colin Kaepernick thing, how he even allowed the media to even run off with his narrative and get so silent. I've said this, y'all. I've said this. You had Colin Kaepernick kneeling. You had the attention. You had the attention of the entire nation. Not only at points do you completely go silent, you allow the media to run off with your narrative. But all these blue checks have direct access to actual politicians. These people are probably 2 degrees from a Maxine Waters, a Kamala Harris, or anybody else that would be happy to say, look, I'm standing alongside Colin Kaepernick to address these issues. Now, people got mad at me. People got offended when I said that because it's like, well, that wasn't his purpose. That's not what he wanted to do. However, you went silent and let the media run with your narrative. How does that make sense? You literally have national attention and nothing happens. When the media shut it off for them however many years that I used to come on here and joke, me and Black Introvert, about how Black Lives Matter went out of style. They took it out of rotation. The book stopped talking about it for a couple of chapters and they picked it back up in chapter 2020. Like, at what point are we going to see that the media, not only the media, but the blue checks are controlling these narratives? And I'm like, get your money, do your thing, but I'm bothered by the fact that this pulls on the heartstrings of people, and so many people are emotionally tied into these decisions, not realizing that there are people sitting in a freaking boardroom, and that is their job. Their job, literally. I study like brand management and marketing like years ago, because I thought it was so dope how these people, and this was before I even got into the whole like news media thing, but I just thought it was so dope and interesting how you can create you can influence people's mood, but these people spend millions and billions of dollars trying to figure out how to influence y'all, captivate y'all, capture y'all. They sit in a board meeting with all these different people and they say, what can we do to make next quarter numbers goes up? What can we do to make people have an emotional connection to our brand? What can we do to get more loyal customers? Listening to me, if you didn't know any better for a second, you would probably think I'm more anti-capitalist than the freaking anti-capitalist. Some of the same that swear they freaking anti-system, you're so anti-corporation, you're so anti-capitalist, yet y'all turn around and support these same corporations because they're pulling on people's heartstrings. Make it make sense. Pick a position. How is it not obvious at this point? Do we really think Disney is going to do anything like revolutionary? I've already talked about, even if you look at the news media, even if you look at these different platforms, particularly when it comes to Black men, you usually have a certain look, a certain demeanor, a certain type. You are hard pressed to find a very masculine, no BS, I'm not with it, very like Black man in the media. Very slim. I think David Banner like even talked about that once. And I think Boyce Watkins might have talked about that before too. Those are two people that had been invited on CNN before. But when you got black men that be like, arm yourself, support your community, put your dollars back into your community, so this goes to your school. Oh, they cut the cameras. Oh, sorry, we lost you. What were you saying? Black families, strong black men. What? Did we lose you? I'm sorry, we lost them. We'll have to have them on again and never come back. I'm almost willing to guarantee you, if the media is constantly promoting or pushing something, you are more likely to have a better outcome if you do the exact opposite. I am genuinely willing to bet that. I don't understand what some people the media has not changed because they pull at y'all heartstrings. The psyops, the strategy is still the same. You're in a freaking hamster wheel. They're not going to bring on people that talk about solutions. They're not going to bring on people that are actually representative. A lot of times you have a lot of these caricatures, y'all know what I'm trying to say. You have people that speak to a very small or sector of real-time voices. You have people that are beholden to certain ideologies because of their sponsors. They can't keep it real with you. They can't have their own opinions. How is that doing y'all justice? And then people have the nerve to talk about representation. Representation of what? Of what? I have gotten on YouTube where everyday people are able to have a voice and say something. And I feel like there is a stronger community on YouTube than you could ever get from some type of solidarity or fake camaraderie that y'all think y'all have from the representation on television. Once again, I say these people live in probably gated communities, private security, high rises. Do they really have the same interests as you? Honestly, seriously, do we have to even pretend it's so? And then here goes Bubba Wallace. So here I was just taking up for Bubba Wallace last week or the week before. This is according to sports.yahoo.com. Audio hardware company Beats by Dre announced an endorsement deal with Bubba Wallace on Monday, which was a little earlier than it had planned. It decided to move up the announcement a few days following a social media incident that happened on Monday. Can you figure out what it was from? The tweet, take a wild guess. We weren't going to announce this until later this week, but hate cannot win the day. No one should ever be asked to apologize for standing up for what's right. We are proud to welcome Bubba Wallace to the Beats by Dr. Dre family. It's not mentioned outright, but it's pretty clear that President Donald Trump's Monday NASCAR tweet led the company to announce the deal early with a tweet that says hate cannot win the day. Trump tweeted about Wallace on Monday morning, calling the recent Wallace noose incident a hoax. A Wallace team member found a noose hanging in the driver's Talladega garage stall in June, and because Wallace is the only full-time black driver in NASCAR, it was possible that it was an intentional act. The FBI investigated and found that no hate crime had been committed, as the noose, which was a garage pull, had been there since October 2019. So originally, when I saw the tweet from Trump, I was like, what's the point of even bringing this back up? People are moved off of it. Then you're literally blaming this on Bubba, which we have to my understanding, even to this day, and even according to this article, it's a Wallace team member that informed Bubba about the noose or garage pool, whatever, in his garage, right? And so I based on the information that we've been provided, I absolutely believe, right, that somebody could inform Bubba of this noose in his garage. And with the heightened level of everything that is going on right now, I can absolutely believe that he would have a level of reaction to that, particularly when you are in a sport where you are the only Black full-time driver, and with everything that's going on in the media right now. However, I do not put that past the idea that NASCAR could have completely, NASCAR or somebody's in his circle could have completely had this idea to almost make a hero out of him. Once again, this is a money-making industry. You now have Bubba Wallace. I don't freaking know. I told you at the beginning, I don't know about NASCAR. Does NASCAR have jerseys? Well, if they do, his jerseys are going to be like on the market very soon and off the freaking shelves. Bubba Wallace was not a household name. I didn't know about Bubba Wallace. Okay? But Midtown Pookie said he ain't Black. He's biracial. And that's another funny thing that I'm probably gonna, or maybe not, talk a little bit about, right? Okay, I will. And then you always got the biracial, because it's this, and I have to say this because it goes back to a point I just made earlier, right? You got the biracial kings leading the social justice movement, okay? You got Colin Kaepernick. Now you got Bubba Wallace. And it would have been Jesse Smollett if it had not been for those pesky kids, or however it goes. I just told y'all there is a certain the media likes to project not only an image that's very palatable, right? But even with what they market. Even the people they market, Bubba Wallace and Colin Kaepernick, are very palatable. Am I lying? What threat are they? Kneeling? Kneeling? Like, see if you can get a Black man that tells people to be armed to get endorsements like Colin Kaepernick, if you don't believe what I'm saying right now. See if you can get a Black man that talks about the importance and the strength of the Black family to get the endorsement that Colin Kaepernick is talking about right now. See if you can get a Black man that talks about keeping your resources in your community so you can see your community flourish, getting the endorsements that a Colin Kaepernick can get right now. But we're very cool with the submissive. Oh, kneeling? Oh, that's all you want to do? Man, come on down and sign this Nike deal. Like, at what point are people going to see that it's the same freaking manipulation tactics? These people are leading y'all nowhere fast. I've said it. You can mark this video. You can write it down in your diary. If people do not focus on solutions, we are going to be having this same conversation 4 years from now. I've said it. I've said it. At what point, if you have all of these things going on right now, y'all click on it so fast, people are reactionary. I see everybody on Twitter. Everybody's posting the videos to support their own biases, right? I'm like, y'all are super interesting, but all right, let y'all do y'all thing. Y'all love it. Y'all eating it up. Even the people that say, oh, fake news, falling into the same little trap. What reason? And y'all let me know in the comments. What reason does the corporations or the media have to actually support solutions and actual substantive change? What reason do they have? Give me one. When's the last time the media was this popping? If social justice sells newspapers, if social justice allows blue checks to eat, what reason do they have to support solutions? What reason? It brings me back to Bree Newsom. And, I don't want to pick on her, but I just happen to be talking about her at the start of the show with her whole abolish the police. If your money is keeping their lights on, if your money is paying for their private security, if your money is paying for their high rise, if your money is supporting their lavish lifestyle while they try to act like, oh, solidarity, camaraderie. While the sister down the street doesn't have all this, and you call yourself speaking on her behalf, talking about abolish the police, and at the same time, you ain't even trying to arm her? You're not trying to teach her the law? You're not telling her the real things that can happen with this money? You talking about switching money from here to here, and it's still in the same people's hands? This money is still in the hands of your state. The same state y'all say is failing you. Tell me how we're not going to be having this conversation again in 4 to 5 years. So once again, I say, when I see a Colin Kaepernick that's going on, he's just climbing up the career ladder. He's moving on to Nike. He's moving on to Disney. And they're not going to talk about things that actually add to your quality of life. They'll talk about stuff that make you angry. Yes, because it's going to make you click. Now they are trending for the day. Now they're viral. You know what that means for them? Even more money. I think at this point, blue checks are actually competing to see who can say the most outrageous things. Go viral, more followers, more money, more opportunities. You might get to go on over there at CNN now. You might pick up a couple sponsors, and you're gonna have to align those talking points to what they say is okay. And I'm gonna show y'all even in a minute. The NBA allows their players to put certain slogans on their jerseys. I thought y'all said the NBA was where the free men are. Y'all told me the NFL was slavery. The NFL was the plantation, and the NBA is where the free men are. Let's go and take a look at these, cause I don't know what I gotta tell people to make them see and make it click. These people answer to the same people. People really think, oh, LeBron, that's a free man talking. one that couldn't speak on China. That one. Because it didn't align with his sponsors. According to Forbes, NBA may let players put social justice statements on jerseys, but not kneel. Not kneel during the national anthem. I thought y'all said the NBA with a free man. I mean, maybe it's me tripping. Numerous reports echoed across the internet late Saturday evening that would allow correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, because sometimes my memory be a little. Were these the same people from the organization that said they had a problem with the word? What was the word, y'all? What was the word? They said they no longer wanted to call their management. Lord have mercy. Thank you, Helena J. Owner. I mean, even though, I worked for a Black-owned business for several years where I worked under a Black lady doctor, and I was proud to tell people she was the owner of her own establishment. But I mean, maybe the word just hit a little differently depending on who you work for. When they tell you, hey, we're going to only allow you to put these slogans on your jersey, maybe owner hit a little bit different. I don't know. But anyway, let's keep reading. So, numerous reports echoed across the internet late Saturday evening that would allow NBA players to replace the name on back of their jerseys during the league's resumption of play on July 30th in Orlando with a personalized message promoting social justice or charity. The measure would be similar in nature to what the English Premier League implemented when it resumed play on June 17th, with every player wearing Black Lives Matter instead of the names of the backup players' jerseys. This could be seen as a measure to placate players who previously spoke out on being weary of going to Orlando because they might miss out on being able to protest in the Black Lives Matter movement or having their voices heard on racial or social justice issues during this tumultuous time. What this measure by the NBA and National Basketball Players Association may also accomplish is district players and the masses from the fact that the league's national anthem policy is still expected to require players to stand. Whether it's the LP, the German, I don't know how to say that, and the National Women's Soccer League in the United States, players have knelt before every match in silent protest against inequality. Even the NFL may finally allow players to kneel during the anthem after essentially blackballing Colin Kaepernick from the league for doing the same. An NBA rule prohibiting kneeling during the national anthem has been on the books since 1981. Players, coaches, you can't change rules now. That's basically what they're saying. Players, coaches, and trainers must stand and line up in a dignified posture along the foul lines, the rule says. In 2018, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver said there were no plans to change the league's stance on this issue. That's interesting. Now I hear they may be considering it. They could just be also saying that. Earlier this month, Dallas Mavericks governor Mark Cuban said that Silver and the league should change this rule and allow players to kneel. So what's some of the slogans that they're allowing to go on the back of the shirts? Black Lives Matter, say their names, vote, I can't breathe, justice, peace, equality, freedom, enough, power to the people, justice now, say her name, yes we can. Look at them throwing a little Spanish in there. Boy, they hitting every market. Si se puede. I think that's how you say that. Liberation, see us, hear us, respect us, love us, listen to us, stand up, ally, anti-racist. I am a man. Speak up. How many more? Group economics. I'm surprised they put that one on there. Education reform and mentor. Oh man. At this point, they have commoditized and corporatized y'all social justice. A little bit about the national anthem with the NBA. A long-standing NBA rule requiring players to stand at attention in an orderly line during the playing of the United States and Canadian national anthems could be challenged starting next month in Orlando. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, speaking at the Time 100 Summit on Tuesday, sidestepped the question about how the league will approach kneeling during the anthem, which will be played prior to every game. Silver was asked if players would be allowed to kneel during the national anthem in Orlando. Again, I'm not comfortable with the word allowed, Silver said. Allow was totally appropriate for what they could put on their jerseys, though. But I think, we've had a rule on our books that goes back to the early 80s. It precedes even David Stern's tenure as commissioner. That calls for players to stand in line at attention during the national anthem. I also understand the role of the protest, and I think we'll deal with that situation when it presents itself. So it just goes on. It just goes on to talk about that. I've already told y'all that the NFL and the NBA, people were trying to make it seem like they were so different. So different, right? And, the NBA is just where all the freedom is and this and the other. And yet now you have these grown men being allowed, their slogans have to be approved for their jersey, even though it's social justice and pertains to social justice. And literally not even that has to go as far as saying, I am a man. I mean, at some point, it even feels like trolling. Right? So you have an organization that can't kneel. So it's like, we'll let you get a lot off your chest. We're going to need y'all to not sit this season out. What can we do? Once again, this goes back to the boardroom. Okay? We're talking about industries that have lost some money. Okay? During the lockdowns, you have these corporations that are capitalist that are trying to recoup some of their money they've lost during the lockdown, saying, man, look, we can't let these folks sit out. No. We didn't even have playoffs this year. Oh, man, you better come up with a list of stuff we can put on the back of their jerseys. That'll work. That'll make them feel like they're doing something, saying something, being a part. This sells. This is a money-making scheme. This is why I have told people to find a narrative and stick to it. Either y'all support these corporations or you don't. But corporations literally by nature, by default, are capitalistic in nature, as I expect them to be. But I want people to pick a narrative and stick to it, because me trying to even commentate, I can't even keep up on what's popping today. The same people that are anti-system are completely okay when your biracial kings can go make a life, go make a living, getting millions, working alongside the same corporations y'all say y'all hate because they pulled on your heartstrings for a little bit, while the media was already talking about it. You want to know when somebody really stands for something, when somebody is really about something, it's when they're not reactionary and they're literally not like constantly talking about these things, but also putting these principles into motion as well. It's a lot of people being super reactionary right now. Everything that they're doing is a response to the media. The actual solutions and change do not come like that. And the media knows that most people are reactionary. And I think social media, I think that the little cue we get, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like we actually have some type of chemical reaction, right? From looking at all these different things, from getting a like on our video or photo or whatever. We have these responses to social media. And I even think in even ways we take in and we're bombarded with so much stuff, which is oftentimes not even our own narrative and our own agendas. And we get swept away in what the media is doing and what the blue chicks are leading the conversation to be, that we don't even focus on real time. You have so many people can't separate their real life from social media. You have a lot of people just lost in the sauce. They're lost in somebody else's agenda and narrative and the way they're directing everything for you. We're being bombarded with so much information, and the media is swaying y'all depending on which way the money is going. So are the blue checks. You cannot tell me how in what world can Simone Sanders go from talking about you will never be able to have another white man in the presidential office? How does she go from saying it on live TV, we literally have record for it, to now being Joe Biden's literal sidekick? What changed? Other than money and opportunity became available. Now, at some point, Simone Sanders has to feed herself. She has to eat. But I need people sitting at home watching, shifting with this narrative, because Simone Sanders literally went from telling you a white man can never be in this office again to vote for this white man. And I just need people to know that that's her job. People like Simone Sanders, Roland Martin, Bree Newsom, Bubba Wallace, Colin Kaepernick, they are doing a job. They are seeking opportunities to be paid, to make money along the same corporations y'all pretend to hate. And so at the point where we literally start to see the separation happen from everyday people to celebrity and stan culture, when we begin to see the separation from the blue check overlords, that is actually, I'm almost completely confident. I'm completely confident you would see so much change overnight if people weren't being shifted and swayed and manipulated and maneuvered by other people's agendas who are tied again to their sponsors. Not only would people be able to have more focus, not only could they actually keep their attention on solutions, this would directly lead into enhancing the quality of a lot of people's lives. I truly believe that. But how can you depend on people's narratives? How can you align yourself so tightly to people that are just not going to have the same interest as you? They're just not. There is manipulation of the highest order going on. There's been years and years and years where these people have studied actual propaganda, how to carry out psyops to get us to respond a certain way. Social engineering, literally dropping things in our TV, in our media. I believe it's happening with pedophilia right now. I believe that's happening. I think I've talked about that with Snapchat. I've heard some really real weird things going on over there at TikTok, on TikTok. I see people on Twitter boldly saying, I'm talking about boldly, they don't even care. They're just out here talking about, having love for a child or somebody underage, you're born this way. Like, how we even made this cool? How we even made people comfortable enough to even come out and say that in real life, even on the internet? Something's happening here, and a lot of people are gonna miss it because it doesn't happen like this. I just had the Flex Queen on the other day. I did this interview with this trans woman, and I asked, I was like, I mean, I'm just trying to understand it. How in the world do we go from either 2012 to 2015? I can't even remember, right? But one of these years, you have gay marriage being legalized to now you have public schools literally teaching about pedophilic relationships in past cultures. What? You have children not only, and then you have the news media writing articles about why it's okay for your children to attend events that involve kink. You have teen magazines writing, telling your freaking daughters, sex work, that's just another job. I mean, astronaut, cook, prostitute, whatever you want to be, daughter. I mean, it's a lot going on, and a lot of people are letting these other people run off with their narratives and their stories. I don't care how people felt about it. I felt like that was an important interview because we had this belief. If I wasn't here talking for myself, it'll be a lot of people that think, oh, all Black people think like this, all women think like this, all trans people think like this, all Asian people think like this, all white women think like this. So again, I say, what does diversity of looks matter when you don't have a spectrum of real people's voices, particularly everyday people? Because like I said, everyday people are not going to, that person coming on here, she didn't have any sponsors. You can say what you want to say, as opposed to a Billy Porter that is like, hey, these are our talking points. Now, and so we start to thinking everybody thinks like this because that's what's being presented to us by the media, and it's just not true. It's just not true. It's just not true. People are not a monolith. a lot of these narratives that the media are actually running with are not actually even as popular as y'all think they actually are. Some of these things that Twitter makes seem like they're so popular, it's the mainstream narrative, everybody's talking about it. I'm in real life chilling with my homies, chilling with my girls. Nobody's talking about that. So when I talk about Colin Kaepernick, when I talk about Bubba Wallace, when I talk about what the NBA is doing, like, all right, cool. I mean, I guess you gotta eat. But then when we look into the manipulation that happens, when we look into people that will not just wake up to the fact or be willing to accept that there is somebody sitting in a boardroom making these decisions, trying to figure out how it is going to affect their balance sheet for the next quarter. That's what I need everyday people to know and to realize. There needs to be a separation. As long as these people continue to run the narrative, continue to lead these discussions, you're going to see a lot of the back and forth, a lot of the hamster wheel, a lot of the non-solutions that you're seeing now, because they have no incentive, none, to actually help you or do anything in real time other than symbols and gestures. Symbols and gestures make money. You know why? Because you can commodify symbols and gestures. You can hashtag. You can make it into a product. You can package it. You can sell it. You can put a theme to it. You can put a song to it. You can make a movie about it. We're at the point where we're so enthralled by trauma porn and social justice. They have literally went on to package it and resell it to y'all as entertainment. They've went on to monetize it. They've monetized your trauma. They have monetized your trauma. As if y'all haven't seen enough of this in the news, as if you don't need to be focused on whatever your agenda might be at this point. They gonna give you a movie about the same thing you already your timeline been flooded with. You mad about that black man getting killed? We know what we'll do. We'll give you a Queen and Slim. We'll put "I Can't Breathe" on the back of a jersey. What kind of psyop is that? You monetize this person's last words? Maybe it's just me, y'all. That is some type of creepy, like out of body, freaky, like they're playing with our heads at this point. They took your trauma and packaged it and resold it to you. The revolution will not only not be televised, the revolution will also not be corporatized. the revolution will not be corporatized. There is no person that is actually going to promote, and y'all look for yourselves. Y'all see the conversations they're having. You see what they're talking about. You see the things that people are elevating as important. Nobody with real-time solutions, anything that they can tell you that's going to add to your quality of life, help advance your community, your schools, your neighborhood, your whatever. They're not going to get airtime. They're not. This is not a new concept. Like, the propaganda game has been strong for years. And so until people start to be able to see that there is a very entertainment value even to our news. Are you not entertained? We're practically being entertained by trauma at this point, by violence, by death. Look at how they've turned Breonna Taylor into a trendy hashtag. You make a song about her, a catchy song. Now what do? Sell it on Spotify? Like, at some point I'm thinking it's some weird freaky mind manipulation ritual going on to have people internalize these things and shift their focus off the things that matter. So like, I don't know, y'all. It's just some odd stuff going on. Like I said, and what we're seeing happening with like the Colin Kaepernicks and the Bubba Wallaces, right? Now you're gonna have Bubba Wallace that's gonna be this standout figure. We didn't know who he was. This is gonna open up all type of sponsorships, endorsement deals, merchandising opportunities, everything. And once again, I mean, I'm cool with people getting their money, but until regular everyday people can separate the two and see what's entertainment, see what's corporation, see what's actual like real-time capitalism, and not even just everyday regular capitalism. You got these people teaming up with some of the strongest freaking forces like in the nation, probably in the world. But until people can separate the two and see it for what it actually is, you're going to continue to not only, because you have them basically incentivizing people to go this route, but you're also going to have people that continue to hail these people as heroes. So, but yeah, y'all, it's just, I'm very interested to see how long this particular Black Lives Matter cycle is going to run. Because y'all know it was going super heavy when Colin Kaepernick originally kneeled and things like that. And I think that was around the Michael Brown time. I like get my, or maybe it was Trayvon Martin. I kind of get my, like, it's just so much. And I kind of like get my dates and stuff mixed up. But we know we were hit very heavy in that time period. And then it was like silent for a while. And we were just talking about other things and every other thing. And here we are in this cycle again. So I'm going to be paying attention. It's going to be very interesting to see this happening in real time because I'm more aware of it now and I'm able to see it. And so we'll be able to see when it starts to gradually, dip a little bit. It starts to shift. We're going to go into some other type of apocalyptic, I don't know, I hear some new stuff maybe coming out of China, just all kind of stuff going on. Maybe we'll go into some of those other discussions. My guess is it's going to be somewhere between right after the election up until maybe January, February. That we're going to be on this cycle that we're on now, or this chapter of this book, this chapter of 2020. And then we'll kind of go into something new. But all right, y'all. So again, I just want to thank my patrons. If you are not a patron and would like to support my content, my Patreon link is below. And I think Helena has been dropping that throughout the video. A special thanks to my VIP patrons, Michael Ray and Ray Ray. Again, I will be in Orlando, Florida this Friday and Saturday, as I will be speaking on a panel at the Libertarian National Convention. I've been invited to speak on a panel about 2A and is it for everybody? And so hopefully we're going to be trying to come up with some actual solutions to implement to help these broader discussions happen and to get this information out to other people. Because like I said, you know, before that one situation, I never had anybody had that conversation with me. So that should be good. And hopefully, I'm hoping, you know, I'll have some content to bring back for you guys as well. But all right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for y'all support. Thank you for everybody that super chatted for me tonight. Thank y'all for rocking with me every Tuesday on Hey Y'all Tuesdays. And I will see y'all soon. Bye.